I'm going to show you how to get started with charging VAT with Magic Heidi. So you are a freelancer or a business in Switzerland and you charge VAT, and it's time to enable this in the app. So the way to do this is you go into settings and my company, and here you have your business information and you have a VAT section here. And here you can just add your VAT number. I'll just add a test number. And once you save, this will effectively enable VAT for your account. You see that you have a few more options here, and we'll just look at them together. First is, which VAT mode do you want? Do you want additive or inclusive? And so that means, do you want VAT to be charged on top? For example, if you have an invoice with 100 francs, do you want it to be 108 at the end? Or inclusive, which means if you charge 100 francs, the VAT will already be inside, so really the customer is going to pay something like 93. And so there you can choose. Usually people choose additive as the most standard one. And then you have the VAT tax method. How do you want to be taxed? Do you want the effective rate, where we're just counting how much VAT you earn, how much VAT you spend, and the difference is what you will pay? Or you signed up for the flat tax, and this is something you do with the Swiss tax authorities. You can sign up for the flat rate, where they just give you a number that is below the 8.1. For example, depending on your industry, it's going to be, I don't know, 6%, 6.5, 6.3, and then you just pay 6.2% or whatever is the number they gave you on your total revenue in Switzerland. In general, people choose effective, but we will have a look at both. And if for some reason you need some other custom VAT rate that is not like a Swiss VAT rate, you can enable it here, but that's usually very rare. You will not have to do it. So you just click Save once you added your VAT number. And now you see that here you have a new VAT declaration section, which will be used for your VAT tax return. But now let's just do the basics and we just look at a new invoice. If you now create an item, you now have the option here to set VAT rates. So for example, I'll just take work. Here is like an hourly item, but let's just keep it simple and we'll just do 100. And a normal VAT rate of 100. And so now my VAT will be included. So here 3 times 100 and then plus VAT. That's why we have 324. You can also have multiple VAT rates in the same invoice. For example, here, let's say I want the special VAT rate of 3.8. And so now I have 2 VAT rates in the same invoice. And I can also, on a per invoice basis, change the VAT logic. For example, maybe for this invoice, I want maybe no VAT at all because, I don't know, I'm charging to a non-Swiss company, or I want inclusive. So I want to charge 100 and I want the VAT to be in the 100, not like 100 plus 8. And those are things I can do here. And then we'll just generate the invoice and have a look at it. Here you go, you have the invoice and you see the VAT is added to each item on the correct VAT rate, and then you have the VAT total and the total sum, and of course the QR code. And that would be an invoice that is ready to be sent to the customer. And now we're just going to look at one final thing, which is the VAT return. So now you know how to manage your VAT on the invoicing side. Let's look at the expense side. So what happens once you enable VAT is that for an expense, you now have the VAT section. For example, you can say something cost me 100, including VAT, and the VAT rate is, here we give you the options, like the normal VAT rate, and then it will automatically calculate how much of that 100 was VAT, and then you can just write whatever, set a category, and save it. And now that was added as a VAT expense. So in our analytics now, we will see the revenue and the expenses for each month. And most important, if we go to VAT declaration, we now have the return ready for our tax return. So I can choose a quarter. I can also choose if I'm doing my tax return based on when I invoice or when I got paid. And then here I will see the total revenue for a specific month. I get the number also that I need to enter in the VAT tax return website. And I have all the details here. I have how much I charged, how much I was paid, and then the VAT situation. And so in this case, since I had much more expenses than revenue, I'm actually owed VAT by the state, and that's the normal thing that can happen. And yeah, this is roughly how VAT works in Magic Heidi. And if you have questions, of course, you can always email us. Maybe just as a final thing, you can export your VAT report here, which will give you an Excel with a summary of all of this. So you can also keep it for your records.